But if you close your eyes.
All right, welcome everyone today. If you are in need of help because your Equifax credit report or credit score is not populating, this is definitely the video that you are going to need to watch. My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't by now, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel where I teach you how to repair credit and how to start a credit repair as a side hustle or full-time hustle, and how to generate multiple streams of income. Credit repair is just one stream of income that I use to help not only generate income for myself, but I help others generate income for themselves. Starting a credit repair business is not only, something that I enjoy doing, but it is very rewarding because you get to see the results for clients that you are literally helping them change their lives. So if you are interested in repairing your own credit or repairing other people's credit, you are definitely in the right place. In today's video, we are going to be going through what happens when your credit scores and your credit report with Equifax simply does not show up. When someone tries to run your credit with Equifax, you are not getting a credit score. Your credit reports are not generating. It's a very common issue, and we're going to go through some examples of why that happens. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first step that we want to do is go ahead and purchase our 3B credit reports from Smart Credit. The link is in the description, so you can go ahead and get your 3 bureau credit report with Smart Credit. If you are looking to start a credit repair business and you want to sign up to become an affiliate with Smart Credit, go ahead and use the link below where you can get connected to sign up as a free affiliate with Smart Credit so you can offer Smart Credit reports to your clients. Now, the first thing that you want to do once you have your account opened with Smart Credit, this is the main page. You're going to go ahead and you're going to go up to Reports. You're going to wait for that drop-down menu, and you're going to go to 3B Reports and Scores. And we're going to go ahead and select the 3B Reports and Scores for right now. And we're going to update the credit report. You always want to make sure that you're looking at the latest updated credit report that has been generated. You will always see the date of your credit report, meaning this is the information that the credit bureaus have on file as of this date. And that's why a lot of times when you're looking at additional credit monitoring applications, your credit scores are always different because you want to look at when was this data as of, right? What scoring model is being used? Is it going to be a Vantage scoring model or is it a FICO scoring model? And if so, what scoring model number is it? There's FICO 8, there's FICO 9, there's FICO 10 now. The most common Vantage is the Vantage 3.0 scoring model, which is what Smart Credit uses and what Credit Karma uses. It's not a FICO, but of course this is going to give you the information that's on your credit report so that way you can work on it. Once you are ready to get your FICO scores, or you want to know what all of your FICO scores are, you can get the My FICO app. You can use the link below to also obtain your My FICO app, which is a great application. I highly recommend it. I use it myself so I can know exactly what all of my FICO scores are, because the FICO scores are the scores that are actually used by the financial institutions. No one is really going to use a scoring model based on a Vantage 3.0 scoring model. Sometimes you will find that property managers or property owners, when they pull your credit, they will use a Vantage 3.0 scoring model because it's a cheaper scoring model to purchase. The FICO scores are always going to be a little bit more expensive. So, that's why I recommend starting off with the Vantage scores, because they are cheaper to acquire versus the FICO scores. And this is the same information report-wise. You just have to understand the concept of credit. And if you haven't by now, you make sure that you have subscribed to the channel, because I always talk about the concept of credit. And you want to make sure that you subscribe to the new podcast, Concept of Credit, where we talk about the different concepts behind credit. Okay, now once you are in here, you want to go ahead and you want to update this. Now you'll see this little bar at the very top where it says update your score. No matter what scoring model or scoring system you're using or credit monitoring company you're using, you always want to make sure that you have the latest information. Okay, so we're going to click on that where we're going to basically refresh our credit report. This is included in the membership with Smart Credit, so you get a fresh credit report every 30 days. Typically, that's the same with any credit monitoring company out there, so just use that same concept. Now you'll see that the report is as of today. However, Equifax cannot be calculated. Now, why does that happen? We're going to go over that here, so make sure you stay tuned. But this is what is going to happen when Equifax is not able to produce your credit score. And there could be a number of different reasons. Now, the main reason that this happens is usually behind the address. Your address on file with Equifax is not accurate, or it is, populating something other than what you're saying your address is or what the input address is. A lot of times it's your personal information, and this is why the credit report simply can't be generated, or your credit report is locked. Okay, one of two things. So make sure, like I said, watch this entire video so you can really understand what needs to be done. Because if you call Equifax and you tell them this is happening, they're going to tell you to do exactly what I'm showing you to do in this video. Okay, so these are the steps that you need to take in order to clear it up in the fastest manner possible. All right, so we've updated this. Now the second part in Smart Credit is where you want to go up to the reports again, and you want to go to the Smart Credit Report. Now, before we do that, let's go back to the 3B reports and scores. I want to show you guys something. Now, I had a client that said, I can't read this report. It's not easy. Well, you have to switch to Classic View. Okay, so that is very important. You want to go ahead and you want to switch the view to Classic View, so that way you can see all of the information. Okay, and you can really determine the inconsistencies, the errors, the information that is not reporting accurate. Always see the report date, so you'll see that it's as of today. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on this client's file because the address and personal information is inaccurate. There's other things that have happened, and we just want to make sure that we are helping all of our clients so that way they can get the things that they need. Now that we went over that, view it in Classic View, we want to head back over to Credit Reports, and we want to just update our score. So if you've had Smart Credit for months and months and months, or maybe you're on your second month of Smart Credit, you always want to make sure that you're updated in the 3B reports area and also in just like the basic credit area here. So we're just going to click that little refresh button. We're going to say view a full update now, so that way it'll just kind of tell you the latest and greatest information. Everything is fully updated. You want to make sure everything is updated as of today's date all the way around. Okay, and it'll tell you, congratulations, your credit score has increased 46 points. Now, if you're doing this to help other people, you want to take a screenshot of these type of things, because this is basically documenting the fact that, hey, these are some of the things that I'm doing to help people change their lives. Okay, and I'm not just telling you about it, but these are the proof. This is the proof that I am doing this stuff. So I usually just have a folder for this, and I save it right into the folder. And the folder that I save it to is just called results. So I can save it to whatever you need, but I always like to just kind of put, customer's name, today's date, and save a little shot of that. All right, so now that this is updated, we're going to head over to Credit Repair Cloud. And again, even if you're not using Credit Repair Cloud, you want to just use the same concept behind it, getting your credit reports. If you're not using Credit Repair Cloud, you can use Microsoft Word, and you can just type up a letter, okay? And then I'll kind of go over my letters and how we do it. But I'm going to re-import the credit report, and you can do that in Credit Repair Cloud by just going to tab 1 and clicking on re-import. So it is going to grab the latest information from your credit reports, and we can go ahead and easily generate dispute letters. And I like it because it keeps a copy. It's all, neat and clean. There's not a whole lot of printing that is going to be required in this process. So we can pretty much do everything online, okay? And it's free. You can get a free 30-day trial of Credit Repair Cloud. Just use the link below. After that, it is a paid service, but it's well worth it in my opinion. Okay, so we're just going to see, this is the re-import summary. We got 5 items deleted. 1 was updated to negative. Some credit scores went up. Of course, Equifax, there is no credit score because we can't access the credit report. Okay, so you'll just see some of the changes that have happened. And we found this out because this client applied for a mortgage and the mortgage company was not able to get their Equifax report. So that is a problem. You can see that there was a collection added. There was some positive credit added. Inquiries deleted. An inquiry added. Something was deleted, but it looks like the collection was added, so it kind of evened itself out. So we're going to download this as a PDF so we can send it on over to the client. Just let them know what changes have been made. That's an easy way to determine, hey, to update your clients really, hey, these are the changes that have gone on. Okay, we're going to continue to the credit report preview page where we can go ahead and start tagging the items. Now, if you're not using Credit Repair Cloud, just use this concept, highlight the items that are inaccurate so we can go ahead and put them on a dispute letter. Now, in this case, we're going to be generating a letter to Equifax, but we're also going to point out to the other credit bureaus like, hey, what are the items that are inaccurate or we need to dispute? You can dispute any personal information that is not accurate. You want to get any old addresses off your credit profile. You want to have the same name and same address on your credit profile all the way across. Any inquiries that are not associated with account, we can go ahead and we can dispute those. So we're going to go ahead and just dispute these. We'll leave that because it's the only one on there. Actually, we're going to leave those. We're just going to dispute. We'll leave the mortgage and we're going to dispute just that one that's not associated because he did do that, but we've been working on the credit, so it's good. Now, any account that's not negative, there's no derogatory status, there's no collection status, there's nothing that's affecting the account in a negative way, we do not need to dispute it, okay? So we've got a bunch of positive accounts, all these positive accounts. Only thing I really tell people is, make sure that credit utilization is very low. The credit utilization needs to be below 10%, okay? Below 10% credit card utilization. So loans are okay. Of course, those are going to affect the debt to income ratio when you're buying a house, but loans don't affect your overall utilization. It's just the credit cards. So they can get loans all they want in, within reason, but as far as credit card and credit card debt, they need to get credit cards and understand the concept behind getting the credit cards. The credit cards are just a stepping stone. They are literally just a test. They need to remain on the credit. They should not use the credit cards, especially if they're secured credit cards. I recommend only using the credit cards once they have like a larger limit where the credit utilization isn't going to affect them so much, because when they have all these low limit cards, $500, $200, even $1,000 in some cases, they swipe that card for gas, 50 bucks, 100 bucks for gas, their utilization is going to go sky high, especially on a $200 card. Right there, they'd be using 50% of their credit card. It's always, the utilization is based on the credit card limit. Okay, and you never want to use more than 10% of the credit card limit, or at least let that report. And the way that you can control what reports is making sure that you pay the credit card balance off before the billing statement date. There is 2 dates. There is the billing due date and there is billing statement date. If you pay your credit card balance 3 business days before the statement date or the closing date, that's the last day of your billing cycle, then you will have the information that is updated in your account as of your statement date. That's going to be reported to the credit bureau. So if you pay your credit card balance down to a zero balance, right, and you pay it 3 business days before your statement date, say your statement date is on the 20th. Well, I would want to pay my balance by the 20th, or say your billing statement date is the end of the month, the 30th. So you would want to pay your credit card balance about 3 to 5 business days prior, so it has enough time to update on your account so it does not report that balance to the credit bureau. So if your statement date is the 30th, you want to pay that credit card off by the 25th of the month. So and then if you pay it off, you won't have a balance due by the billing due date. You would have already paid it because you're paying it before the statement date. So keep that in mind. Always set up your credit cards so they have an automatic payment set up just in case you forget. At least we know auto pay is coming out for the minimum amount due, so you don't ever get a late payment, okay? That's very important, setting up all your credit cards on automatic payments for the minimum amount due. Putting reminders in your cell phones about the payments so you can make sure that you don't ever get a late payment, okay? I have had clients that have had late payments with credit cards, and it is very hard to get corrected. They are the hardest thing to get corrected. Have I gotten them corrected in the past? Yes. But, again, they are the hardest thing to get corrected or removed from a credit report, late payments. So make sure to pay all bills on time. So we come to our first derogatory account, and it is only reporting to TransUnion, but we want to go ahead and we want to let them know that this is actually a fraudulent account. So this account was obtained by somebody else. The client doesn't even know where this account came from. They have been a victim of identity theft in the past from losing their wallet, so we just don't know at this point where it is. Everything else is positive on this account except for this particular account that is only reporting to TransUnion. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to save the work, and if you didn't have time to tag it, you can always save the report as pending and come back to it later. But I always like to kind of get through things as fast as possible. Now, if you're using Microsoft Word, this is kind of where you want to start using the same concept. We're just going to be using a saved letter that we have. So use a template. You can use a template from our letter library. And we're just going to add personal information, and we're just going to, you can literally just copy and paste what it has listed on the credit report. So in this case, we're just going to tell it, hey, we want to send this to Equifax, and we're just going to kind of put this is negative, and we're just going to put personal information, unlock the credit file, because right now our #1 goal is to get this credit file unlocked with Equifax so we get the credit report that they have on file for this client, right? So I have a letter that's saved, and this letter is also a part of our custom letter library, and the link for our letter library is below, where we have over 100 dispute letters, and most of them are already formatted for Credit Repair Cloud, but you can, just use that same format even if you don't use Credit Repair Cloud. But this is a specific letter made for Equifax that is asking them to correct our personal information and unlock our credit report. Because what happens is with Equifax, and this is why I tell you guys watch the entire video, because you never know what information you're going to miss, and you don't want to miss any of this information. And if you haven't by now, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you have found value from it, and leave me a comment. Let me know that you were able to get this situation fixed, or if you have any questions, let me know. Go to the links in our description where you can get everything that we talk about in our videos. So again, this letter to Equifax, you just put your name and your current address up there, right? You address it to Equifax. Now, Equifax's address, they have a P.O. box, but in this case, what we are going to do is we're going to fax it, because Equifax is one of the last credit bureaus that still accepts faxes. Now you can upload documents to Experian and TransUnion, but half of the time they don't work. So it's better just to use old mail. You can send certified mail if you want to get a return receipt. If you plan to sue them in court, if you don't get your way, you'd want to go that route. But if you don't ever plan to sue them, a regular stamp is perfectly fine. In this case, you can fax it. If you have access to fax, you can fax online, and that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Or you can simply send a letter in. This is the address, P.O. Box 740256, Atlanta, Georgia. And again, this is to Equifax. You can also send them a fax, 888-826-0598. That is the direct fax number to Equifax, so that is not only free, but you're going to get a receipt that you actually sent it, and that's an electronic receipt in the fax. And you can use what I use Humble Fax. It is $9.95 or $9.99 a month. If you plan to fax, often, even if you don't plan to fax, there are free things out there that you can use to e-fax at least one item. That's really all that you need. So this is how we're going to do it. And of course, we want to make sure that we're sending in the supporting documentation that Equifax is going to request from you. Okay, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so again, we're putting the fax number on there, and we're going to put up here, and this is going to be our cover letter, because they want a cover letter from you, right? Basically what this is about. I'm going to put unlock credit file, update address on personal info. I'm going to put C attached proof, and then I'm going to put what I attached. So I'm going to put driver's license, photo ID. Okay, you have to attach a photo ID. It could be a state driver's license, a state ID, or a passport. We're going to put social security card, okay, because you're going to need to send a copy of your social security card. If you don't have it, you can try to send a photo ID and then the proof of residency, but it would be best to send all three, because you're asking the credit bureaus to change your address. So they need to verify that they are actually speaking with you. All right, so again, driver's license or photo ID, social security card, and proof of address. What is proof of address? Proof of address can be a pay stub. It can be some sort of statement that has your current name and address as you want it on the credit report. It can also be a bank statement. It can be a utility bill. So anything that you have that would qualify, you want to send them a statement that has your correct name and your correct address, especially if you don't have your correct name and address on your driver's license. You don't necessarily have to have your correct driver's license address required, but it is recommended. So a lot of people's address on their driver's license or photo ID is expired. In that case, try to use a passport, but you want to use a photo ID, your social security card, and proof of address. Those are the three supporting documents that you're going to need in addition to this letter in order for them to actually unlock your credit file, update your personal information, because you're asking the credit bureaus to put a completely different address that's not even on your credit report, and they can't verify who you are unless you send them all this information. And then we're going to give them a brief summary of what's going on, and that's what they want, a brief summary. So in this letter, I just said, I have called you to advise the following. Now I'm putting it in writing for you to correct immediately. Please unlock/unfreeze my credit file. I have complaints from creditors stating my credit file is not accessible and I am being denied credit because of this. Okay. And I just go on to say, hey, I never asked for this, blah, 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 blah. Right. Number 2, please remove all consumer statements off my credit profile. because we don't want any consumer statements. Sometimes when you dispute things, they put consumer statements on there. We don't want any consumer statements. So while we're doing all of this and saying, hey, update my personal information, you might as well ask them to remove any consumer statements that might be listed on your credit report. Okay. And then number 3 is to update your personal information to be correct. And I just put, hey, for the love of God, please correct my personal information. My correct name and address. I've enclosed proof of this by providing you with my state ID and proof of address. You can just put my correct and only name, my correct and only name, okay, my correct and only address of 2+ years, okay, because they're going to want to see that you've been at your address for 2 years. So sometimes you might just have to say, yeah, I've been at my address for 2+ years, okay. My only and correct date of birth, okay, or actually we're saying my correct and only. My correct and only Now, if your date of birth is wrong, you can put that in there. Now, since this client, his only real issue is just the address, we're going to leave that out because the main problem here is the address. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to make this bold. We're going to put, please update my correct and only address of 2+ years, and we've given the address, okay? And that address must match the proof of address. That's the main thing. That proof of address must match. Okay, so put it exactly how it's listed on the proof of address. And again, utility bill, bank statement, pay stub, W-2, anything that is kind of like an official document that has your name and address. Okay, now we've got the client's name. We're going to go ahead and just put a little note at the bottom and then just put, please send confirmation to me. And then we can put a few notes in here just saying, hey, with the amount of identity theft going on, I am fearful that someone could mistake me as someone else with this incorrect information on my credit report. Since I'm not getting any help from you, I have reached out to a consumer lawyer who did inform me that you must follow the Fair Credit Reporting Act under 15 U.S. Code 1681I, procedure of case of disputed accuracy. You are required to promptly delete all information which cannot be verified as accurate. I understand that per the Credit Reporting Act, Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is the FCRA, you are required to notify me of your investigation results within 30 days. My contact information is provided. I'm going to put is provided. And I've included proof of my identity and current address to avoid any delays in your response time. Please note, I have resided at my current address for well over 2 years. Please provide all correspondence in writing via USPS mail. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. I look forward to receiving an updated copy of my credit report reflecting the above correction. Thank you in advance. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. You don't have to be that long-winded. You can literally just write, please update my address, unlock my credit file. You don't have to give a long explanation. It can be very, very simple. That's the main thing here, is just keeping it simple, okay? And sometimes our letters are a little long-winded, and that's fine. But if you're going to handwrite them or if you're going to type them out on Word, just keep it simple. Just tell them the main things. Hey, unlock my credit file. I'm getting denied credit because you have my file locked. You most likely have my file locked because you have inaccurate information on file for me. So we've got our letter drafted here, and everything looks good. I always try to keep everything pretty organized so that way it's easy to read and it's got everything that they've asked for. Okay, they've asked for a little cover letter. We sent them a little cover letter at the top, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to save. And this is our first time asking for them to do this, and we're just going to call it like Equifax unlock. Okay. And if you want to save it as something under here, I just put it under personal information, and we're going to save. Now, what we are going to do is we've saved that file. And to just get that part done, because it's so important for us to just get that done, we're going to go up to this little envelope here, and we're going to go to our pending batch print, and we're going to go to batch print, and we're actually going to download this letter so we can go ahead and just get it sent. So we're going to download this letter, and then we can actually come back and download any other letters that are for Equifax. Now, we won't do that in this video, but I'm just saying if you ever wanted to come back and download all of the letters for Equifax, you could, and you can send them for free via fax. So we're going to download this one, and we're going to hit download and print selected. And we're going to include the photo ID and all that good stuff with all of our letters. You want to make sure that all of your photo IDs are copied in your client's files properly so they will generate properly. So we look at this letter. This letter looks good. This is exactly what we generated. And guess what? It will automatically attach the client's driver's license and information to the letter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to download that by just selecting that little down arrow. And we're just going to put Equifax, okay? And I am going to log into my eFax, which is HumbleFax. Now that I'm logged into HumbleFax, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to compose a new fax. I've already got Equifax's number saved in here. And if you didn't get the fax number from earlier, the fax number for Equifax is 888-826-0598. So you want to go ahead and save that number as a contact in your phone or in whatever directory that you're going to use so you can keep it handy. We're going to go ahead and we're going to upload that file that we just created. Now, if you're doing this with like Microsoft or you're not using the software, you can just attach a copy of each document so that way it'll get all of those items there. So if you just do a letter, you can attach the letter, then you can attach the pictures of your driver's license, social security card, and proof of address. Now we're going to just put a quick little note here, and I am going to just copy the exact cover letter that we have on our letter and put it in the cover letter message. And just put unlock credit file, update address on personal information, see attached proof, and then I'm going to put the client's information in there. So they have everything at a bird's eye view because that's what they're asking for. Okay. And everything looks good. We're going to go ahead. We're going to send the fax. Once your fax is sent, you'll get that confirmation. It'll say that it's processing. You can always come back later and just see that it has, in fact, been sent successfully. You always want to get that confirmation so you can go ahead and make note of that and document it, okay? Once a fax has been sent successfully, you want to go ahead and you want to make a note of that for your file or your client's file. All right, so let's go ahead, and since we're all done with that, you know, that's really what this video was about, was just how to correct your credit report with Equifax when it just simply is not populating. And for whatever reason, when someone pulls your Equifax, it just can't quite, it doesn't generate a credit score. There's no credit report. It's super frustrating. And this has happened to a lot of my clients. So I really wanted to just do a video for you guys so you guys can understand how to fix it, because when you call the credit bureaus, they just are not helpful at all. In some cases, they can be, but in this case, they're just going to tell you to do everything that we just went over in this video. So that's exactly how you would go ahead and fax the letters to Equifax and just generate a simple letter for yourself and just put your basic information on there. You can always get a copy of our letter library and go from there. So if you want to watch part 2 of this video, it's going to be coming up next in the Credit Repair Club playlist. But this was just part 1 of how to fix your credit report with Equifax when it is simply not populating. Until next time, guys, my name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. Make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and you watch the playlist coming up next.
But if you close your eyes